Hello, this is Ted Goldsboro with Living History. Today we're talking with Jerry Francis, the president of the Lower Merion Historical Society. And this Historical Society was involved in the renovation of the Cynwyd Railroad Station in Bala Cynwyd. This is our second show on this topic. And we left off, we were in the construction or deconstruction of the building, and a lot more damage was done to the building by termites and fires than had originally been thought. So, Jerry, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. We had left off that we had gotten into the building. We were doing a demolition because it was, again, we had taken it apart to put it back together. We had stabilized the basement. This is a picture. We had to take out all the flooring on the first floor. So this is a picture from the first floor looking down into the basement to show you the condition that was going on there. Again, this is what's going on with the first floor. Everything's being taken apart, taken out. The old growth full cut lumber to recycled, reused, things like that. Then we'll move on, and this is really from the looking. You see how the timbering that's going on inside. It is really a construction site. What's going up the middle is the chimney that runs from the basement to the first floor to the second floor. So that's where some of the fires were in the chimney flues. So again, that's looking down to the basement. What we're trying to show here is a picture's worth 1,000 words. Again, you see some of the timbering, and they had the bad job. Some of the repairs were that we had to actually go back and to meet code, take an 1890 building that had been repaired over the years to meet the current township code. So it was much more to the project than we anticipated. Again, we found in there a lot of the construction. This is an example of something called mortise and tenon. This is the way the structure and the beaming was done. So it's old style carpentry.
Where are these now, these pieces?
We saved some of them, and they're on display in the SEPTA waiting room. So we wanted to show what it looked like. Again, this is just an example as we went through what could be salvaged. It was noted, salvage this piece, so when we put it back together, we were able to recycle that. Again, it's a challenge, but we have to be responsive. And this is from the first floor looking up into the second floor to show that we really gutted the place.
It was just a big empty cavern.
Big empty cavern. That's all it was left. Okay. And then we were putting it all back together.
Now, after Jim Easter died, our contractor, what happened?
We had to go through the process of speccing it out, taking it out to competitive bid, and it was won by Stumpo Construction over in Conshohocken area. It was Ned Stumpo, which is grew up in Belmont Hills. But again, he was a very special person in the sense that he volunteered. It's very hard to find someone to take on someone else's project and finish it. You had to really get into the mind of Jim Easter. What was it? Why did he do it this way? And Ned is very good on structural engineering. So here's a nice picture with Ned on site. I don't know who the other gentleman is doing this inspections as progress went on. As we went through different stages, we would have a kind of an open house for the township and Broadlands and everyone else to come in to take a look.
Now, for the audience, who is that other person?
I think his name is Edmund Goldsboro.
Oh, Ted Goldsboro. Okay, thank you.
You were a frequent visitor taking many of your pictures. Again, this is just another, I want to give credit. There's Ned to the left, and the three gentlemen to the right are with Broadlands Financial. They were the clerk of the works. They would be there once a month. They would spend a day there to check the work, make sure they're following the blueprints correctly. A lot of structural issues were going on there. We decided to throw a picture of Hamel Horn in. Again, as I said, a third of the project was funded by the county, a third from the township, and the Historical Society's third was funded by Hamel Horn's endowment. Mr. Horn was a member of our board of directors for many years, and in his will he did give us a sizable amount of money, about $170,000, to be used for a project that he wanted. So we used his money, a lot of his money, to fund our 1/3. So we have his legacy. There's a wonderful brass plaque at the station now, and his name's there prominently as first on the plaque. So we have him. Now we get things looking positive. Mr. Stumpo on site, he's now putting everything back together. Here's the second floor, which was we showed some pictures before. The windows were boarded up. We put windows back in, added dormers, and we're making this into a caretaker's apartment. Challenges. We found out that besides the building sinking, the front part of the building with the overhang had pulled away from the building by about 11 inches. So it was Mr. Ned Stumpo had to build these anchors. There were actually 4 of them along here, put in heavy cable, and every day he would come in, there were ratchets, would do one click.
Slowly pull it back up again.
Slowly, and we had to pull it back 11 inches. That's how far it had pulled away to reattach it to the building. To show, this is a series of 3 pictures here. This is that same spot where we had pulled away from the building. This is what it looked like when we arrived at the building. You can see that the windows was boarded up. It was piles of trash. It was tilting badly.
And smoke from fires.
Yes. Yeah. This is during construction. You can see that it's now been pulled back. Nice Pella windows of the correct style and profiles were put in. You see the steel strapping that was put in to reattach the building, the wing to the building, and there's all the echo insulation that was in there. And this is what it looked like when we got done. So
what is that?
That's the second floor caretaker's kitchen apartment. So it went from that to a very livable space. We do have a caretaker living on the second floor that keeps an eye on the building, and so on and so forth. So and to make sure it's proper care and maintenance.
And that would be nice because that's the sunny side. That's looking out on the tracks.
Yeah. So it's you can, with effort, a little bit of love, it can come back.
Yes.
The people that care. I just threw this one in because this is the front door of the station. One thing that I was very impressed that Mr. Stumpo was able to really insist upon, and also was part of the project here, was the recycling. So a lot of the lumber was reused. This is the original front doors date to 1890. It was in bad shape. This is them. They had instead of throwing it out and buying new doors, they actually this is when they were starting some of the repairs. They had taken it down, taken it apart, reused, rebuilt panels, they were putting it back up, and they would repaint it and they put it back in place. So they again, like all the windows on the first floor, the front doors were all made of were all put back and rebuilt. So the original windows, original doors.
Didn't he add double thick glass or something?
Yeah, the part of it, everything had to be energy environmentally correct. So all the windows, all the sash windows, all the doors were double paned for energy efficiency. So it was very nice. Then we switched to the outside.
I love this shot because it shows so much going on.
Yeah, we found out that besides just working on the inside, every utility had to be replaced. We needed new electrical, new water lines,
sewer.
Well, we found out sewer. So this is a picture of the roof going on, the dormer being built, and we had to bring in new water connections to the building. And one of the main reasons we needed a new water connection, suddenly we found out through the project, we needed a fire suppression system. This is one of the control panels for the fire suppression system. So they required a 2-inch water mains to properly service the area. So we have 92 sprinkler heads in the building to protect it, to meet fire code, and they required all new water lines to come in. So this is a lot of hardware down in the basement.
Jerry, going back a picture, what was that roof made out of?
That's actually made out of recycled tires.
Looks like slate, but
yeah, we thought the original roof was cedar, but then as we took it apart, we found underneath the cedar it was slate. So original roof in 1890 was, at that time, slate was cheap. It was local. They stuck it on, and apparently it didn't last very long, and they put the slate back on. And the Historical Commission said, would be nice to put the slate roof back. And
expensive.
But there's faux slate. So what Ned found up at, it was a Home Depot out in King of Prussia. It was being decommissioned because they moved it somewhere else. And they had they had pallets of this rubber slate look material. So we bought it at salvage price, and the Stumpo family donated the cost of it, and then we put it back up and got approved by the Historical Commission. It's just, it looks beautiful because the station is defined by its roof. It's sitting in a holler, so you really don't see the front of it, you see the roof.
Right.
So if I'll make a plea here, if anybody wants to donate about $20,000, we would love to put the ridge cresting back.
Yeah.
To really define the roof. But that's another day.
I know we have 2 minutes until we have to take a break. What's going on here?
Well, after we got in there, we found out we had no sewer system.
And you're down below grade.
This SEPTA stepped forward on this, and they put in what they call ejector pumps in, and then these are the pumps actually pump the gray water up to Conshohocken State Road into the township sewer line. So that took a lot of digging and excavation.
We didn't expect that. We'd have to do that.
Again, it was working with the Historical Commission. This is Ned's brother, Al. We had to repoint all the bricks. It was very interesting. A lot of the bricks were, you can't get that shape, style, profile anymore. And a lot of bricks had been, the lower levels were so badly, he actually chiseled them out, took out the brick, turned them around. So he had the good side, put them back in. And it had a special, Portland cement put in it back.
When he did this in the summer, it was so beastly hot. It was like 100 degrees, and he was working in the sun. I felt so sorry for him. Okay,
then
who
the
are these
painters
people?
came in.
Painters.
Oh, we needed the painters. Then we got together with a committee, what was the correct colors, what we think of the time. There were no standard colors at the time. So we put it together. We followed the Wayne train station. What was done out in, along the Pale is what timbers. It's very complicated with all the different timbering. So these are the, again, finishing the project.
Now we've got to wrap it up here, Jerry. We've used up our first segment, and we'll be back. This is Ted Goldsboro with Living History. We're talking to Jerry Francis about the renovation of the Cynwyd train station.